Hello, investors. This is Ted Zhang, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Sunday, November 24th, 5:03 p.m., coming to you from Vienna, Virginia, with this weekend's Revere Roundup weekly walkthrough. Stay in the market. We're still in an uptrend. If we look at the GROTECTION gauge, we have market leaders with the green up arrow. Short term above the 21 EMA indexes are all really strong, all the major indexes. Medium term, we're above the 50-day moving average, and long term, we're above the 200-day moving average. So jumping right into the charts, starting off with the S&P 500. Coming to this week, well, for most of this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're building a range in between this level and this level. And Thursday, decide to pop out on above average volume, so that's an accumulation day. And then we followed through on also above average volume. Now it looks like the 6,000 test will come again. Go on the 60-minute. You can see the top of that base breakout held. Resistance turned to support. That's classical technical analysis. We chopped around here for a few days, and now we've resumed higher. RSP, all-time high close and all-time high in price. Um, so just continues to be really strong. We saw volume come in 2 days in a row above the previous day, which displays accumulation. Qs, same thing with S&P, but not as strong, still lagging a little bit. We held this left side peak and reclaimed it, which is a really good start. We also built this 5-day range and we wedge pop back above that level, as well as 500. So this is also U-turning just like the S&P 500, and 515s look like they're up next. Equal weighted, even stronger. This just shows that we have wide breadth in the markets, and the reason that the market cap weighted indexes are weaker than equal weighted is because of the mega caps, and we definitely see that in FMGS. Um, we're still building a range here, but this cup with handle looks absolutely perfect. Go to the Dow Jones. It's also wedge popped, now returning, testing these previous all-time highs, and this looks really strong and healthy. Mid cap, same thing, new all-time highs. Nothing much to say about this. Our relative strength line breaks those relative highs as well. And this just looks like perfect classical technical analysis. Breakout turns to support, undercut reclaimed on November 19th. And we've had 3 days up in a row into all-time highs. Small caps have been really strong too. Once again, broke out above 2,300 on November 6th, came back and retested it, undercut and reclaimed on November 19th, and now we've zoomed above 2,400 as well. At the same time, the VIX tried to make a move above 20, didn't quite get there, and now we have retreated so far back below the 200-day moving average. And as I pointed out in previous videos, we would love to see us come down to the 10 to 15 area and just oscillate in between those two levels in this zone. When the VIX is down here, that often presents smooth uptrends in the indexes, which is exactly what we like to see as low risk trend followers. The dollar makes a huge breakout above this level. If you want a weekly chart, you can see that's a massive weekly level. This is 8 weeks up in a row, and so the dollar continues to be strong, but so far it's not having an effect on equities right now. Typically, when the dollar is strong, rates are higher and equities are under pressure, but this is not the case right now. So we're going to continue to monitor this disconnect in previous correlations between the dollar and equities. Gold, you can see weekly found support the 20-week moving average. On the daily, we reclaimed all moving averages, wedge popped above. We have a power of 3 setup, and this looks great to go back into all-time highs. Gold miners, though, are weaker. Haven't reclaimed the 50-day, which is much higher, around 40. We're rejecting the 21 EMA here. So we talked about it in our calls, but dust could be a potential short, actually. But with gold so strong, it's probably not too favorable to short the miners. Silver, relatively weaker than gold. Still haven't reclaimed this left side peak, but we are starting to build this range here. This could either be a bear flag or just consolidation that breaks the upside and forms power three as well, breaking above the 8, 21, and 50-day moving averages. In terms of IBIT, we own this, continues to be strong, just riding the 8 EMA higher, not even the 8, but actually the 5 EMA. Relative strength just screaming into new highs, extraordinarily powerful. And we'll go to trading view to show off the Bitcoin chart. It's been 3 weeks up in a row. Uh, this week closes in about an hour and 50 minutes this day as well. And we are attempting an undercut reclaim of the 5-day moving average. It's great to see that the 10-day has risen above 94,000, which was its previous breakout level. And so now this provides great support if it does want to pull back here before trying to break above 100,000. We put in the highs, at least on the Coinbase exchange, at 99,860. This just has been an extremely powerful breakout, as you can see. Perfect cup with handle, linear movements on the down move, as well as the up move. Choppy handle, which is exactly what you want to see to wear out the bulls and the bears and the weak hands. Some undercut and reclaims in the space, shakeouts. Now we broke out with extreme power 3 weeks up in a row on huge volume. Definitely still favorable Bitcoin. It continues to be a trend where we've only made one lower low within this recent trend. So we'll see what happens. And um, of course, we do not predict, but the next pullback is probably viable just on how human psychology works. Many people have likely missed this move, so they'll be looking to add aggressively back on a pullback, whether that's back to 94,000 or we just chop around above 95,000. Um, there will be opportunities to add in the future. Talking about bonds real quick, yields continue to just trickle higher if the 1 year here, 2 year, 10 year, 30 year. And this is probably just pricing higher growth expectations under the Trump administration, as well as potential higher inflation with his immigration policies, his tariff policies, and just lower corporate taxes and tax rates in general. So we'll see how it plays out there. Um, Druckenmiller's talked about that bonds could be under pressure, even though equities could be roaring in the next 3 to 6 months. But eventually, if the bonds continue to stay weak, that might spread into equities. So we are watching that as well. So that is it with the inter-asset correlation. Now I'll get into some breadth. First, the pretty market monitor breadth. Last 4 days this week, we had green readings across the board. Thursday and Friday, we had breadth thrusts with 389 stocks and 400 stocks up 4% plus on the day. So definitely breadth is increasing and improving, and there's power in breakouts, and especially in the small and mid cap, smaller stocks areas. Net highs, you can see green across the board. It's always great to see more advancers than decliners Friday by about 3x up and down volume, also about 3x. So that was great to see. To visualize the net highs and lows more, net highs came exploding back last Friday. This is in the NASDAQ, same thing. So that's great to see. Let me get rid of this taskbar real quick. The NYSE starts to hook up again, still in oversold territory. So this just shows that there's still potentially a lot of room to the upside. NASDAQ confirms that too, hooking up above oversold territory on the RSI, and price is still not back above the 10-day moving average. Seeing that fear and greed, just back into greed, which is nothing too much to worry about. We're not even in extreme greed yet. And even when we get into extreme greed, we can stay there for long periods of time. So we're following our primary indicators first, which is price and volume of the indexes, sectors, and market leaders, and the dominant themes in the market. AAII, it was great to see that bulls pulled back a bit to historical averages, and bears are actually above historical averages. So although still a bit elevated, we did see some sentiment cool down off the pullback, and it's good to see. NAM continues to stay elevated above 91, but we know that from history, even above 90, we can stay here for long periods of time. it's really until you get above 100 where you have to start getting a bit worried, and that's a secondary sell signal for us. Continue on. I wanted to quickly talk about some earnings. So we'll pull up this right here. For the most part, earnings are over, and we have a short week this week with Thursday being Thanksgiving and Friday being Black Friday, which is a half day. So not too much earnings. Most of the big ones are an event of the past, which is great to see. A lot of headwinds, potential headwinds out of the way, like NVIDIA last Wednesday. But looking to this week, we have Zoom, which I'm actually recording on right now, after the close Monday. We have Abercrombie& and Fitch before the open Tuesday. Dell, which we own after the close Tuesday. CrowdStrike, Workday, Autodesk, um, and pretty much nothing too much Wednesday before the open. So that's really it from earnings standpoint. We go to economic calendar. Nothing for Monday, nothing for Friday or Thursday because of this Thanksgiving week. Tuesday, consumer confidence, 10 a.m. A huge dump on Wednesday from jobless claims to GDP first revision, personal income, personal spending, and then the big PCE index, as well as core PCE, which is the primary gauge of inflation for the Federal Reserve. And talking about the Federal Reserve, let me bring up the CME Fed Watch tool, which gives us the Fed swap probabilities of a rate cut for the December 18th meeting. So that's coming up in about a few weeks. Right now, there's a 47.3% probability of the Fed holding rates at where we are now between 450 to 475. And there's a 52.7% probability for another 25 basis point rate cut. And that is pretty interesting because we have Bitcoin at all-time high, equities trading at all-time highs, gold is looking to rip back in the highs, housing prices are pretty much at highs. So we're continuing to ease into a roaring market, and we'll see, that could lead to some type of bubble in asset prices. Of course, that would be good for us who are investing in the markets, but that could just cause more inflation in the overall economy, which would hurt many consumers and lower just many consumers in the United States. Finally, I want to end off with some charts of interest and some themes and sectors I've scanned this week. The first one I want to go with crypto, which has been the dominant theme I've been focused on. Of course, like I talked about Bitcoin, just a massive move into highs. On the podcast, I talked about Ethereum, which is continuing to form its base. Going to a quarterly chart, nice cup with handle. Monthly chart, really nice cup with handle as well. Back above the 10-month moving average, which is aligned with the 10, 20, and 50. But we still do need some work on the weekly. The 10 week and 20 week still far below price. That is looking to hook up though. So that is good first sign. We want to get that 10, 20, 30, 40 aligned, all sloping a 45-degree angle, as you can see right here. That's where all big moves occur. So I would think this still needs at least 2, 3, maybe one to 3 more months before Ethereum is truly in play. As you can see, we're still rejecting this 3,500 level. Haven't even really got there yet. We tapped 3,500 to the penny yesterday. So we continue to project that 35,000 level. Solana does break out of this MSTR-like cup with handle. We briefly made new all-time highs, but so far trading below, reversing off that so far. We might just need to chop around here. Found support the 10-day moving average, which is the moving average it's been riding this entire way up. So still extremely healthy action. Look at the weekly, 3 weeks up into that huge level. Some pausing, some basing is completely reasonable. And then in equities, I'm going to talk about a few names. Let's actually go to the deep view chart for this, just to showcase the other main tool I use. So in crypto, of course, we have MSTR, which we talked about, and Connor described the parabolic short setup or climax top setup in MSTR on our Friday podcast. So definitely highly recommend you checking that out. But we caught this massive move. It's about sub 150 all the way to the top. So almost a 250, over 250% plus move. Just wonderful move here. Coin is another one that has been lagging. the other names, but we're forming a high tight flag here actually. So if we can really just come up to this 335 level, get tight, that'd be a great thing for coin, and we could see a move to previous all-time highs of like 370 to 400-ish. Other crypto names, of course, we play IBIT, Bitcoin ETF. Um, is a smaller name, but still trades 153 on average dollar volume, forming a flag here, but still a bit messy. Maybe if it gets tight, see a decrease in volatility. That is another option. ETHA would be our Ethereum ETF that we would play when if slash when Ethereum sets up. Of course, crypto miner that's been in a steady uptrend. Definitely less alpha um, and momentum here than MSTR and IBIT, but still strong stock nevertheless. But it is a potential big beneficiary as many people use it to buy crypto, especially younger generations like my generation. And this just continues to move into new 52-week highs. We're still far off all-time highs, but this looks great in Robinhood. Let's go to the uranium and nuclear sector, starting off with the URA ETF. Forming a gigantic cup with handle. It looks really good. There are many tailwinds around nuclear. Big tech is pushing for it, so you know the media narrative is going to change, and public perception is definitely changing because of that, because of what the media reports on nuclear and how it's promoting nuclear now. And Trump is also supportive of nuclear as well. And some individual names I just want to quickly show you guys. Some are too thin for Revere and GROTECTION, but for those out there who are traders or you trade a bit of your own money, these are some names to pay attention to. UEC, similar to the URA chart, cup with handle over these 8.65 level is a buy. OKLO is the Sam Altman backed one. Really nice big move up, 450% move, and it started to form a base here. Um, I'd love to see this get tight, maybe even retest 23 and taking out these 26.5-ish levels. Looks great for this name. SM, SMR is a small modular reactor name. Continues to make a really nice move. 320% move since the base lows. 77% move since this breakout. So that's another option. NNE, Nano Nuclear Energy, broke out 2 days ago. That's 34% move here. This is liquid enough, but it's too volatile for protection in our risk parameters. 14% ADR. Continue on ASPI, even smaller name. Uh, this is a company that creates isotopes, essential isotopes for nuclear energy, quantum computing, EVs, healthcare, and even space exploration. And this broke out of a high type flag. The 229% move, 30% decline, and breaks the downtrend line. Looking really good there. And then finally, LEU is another nuclear name. This does trade thick enough at, at an average dollar volume of the last 20 days at about 150 million, but still just too whippy probably for Revere and too small. And we won't be playing this, but definitely a great option over this left side peak and start a position. And if it continues to build this base, this could be favorable as well. We'll go through some other groups that we're watching and just another reminder that some of these are too thin for Revere. I just want to showcase where the money is flowing. Quantum computing, INOQ, just straight vertical. This needs a base now. You have QUBT going vertical as well. QBTS, same thing. And ASPI, I put that in there as well, which is acting strong. You can see group moves can be extremely powerful. Clearly shows where the money's flowing when you have multiple stocks in a group moving in the same fashion. If the power generation and even in a way, renewable energy, nuclear power generation theme as well. BST broke out of the space recently. NRG in a base, looking to poke its head out. BE had a um, electric power generation deal signed, and this gapped up on highest volume ever, and this continues to float higher so far. So this is definitely on watch too. BEV just continues to trend higher after breaking out from its spin-off base. Just wonderful 89% move. And then TLN is another recent IPO, broke out of 185 and is trading about 50% higher. In fintech, of course, we talked about many times, a firm broke out this base, 30% move. We have Square, officially broke out of its stage two uptrend, or of its stage one base into a stage two uptrend. Deep V Weinstein stage just confirms that. So this is looking really good. Really, the next area of resistance is all the way at 150. That's another 62% move higher. Upstart broke out of the stage one base as well into new 52-week highs on earnings. Pulled back in because of an offering, and we're U-turning now. Inside day last Friday. And this is definitely one on focus for me. Over 75 is a buy. SoFi, super extended, just a huge move out of the stage one base. This is another one name to pay attention to in the coming weeks and months. Same with Toast, broke out of stage one base. Many of these were just failed 2021, 2022 IPOs that came in at rich valuations without established earnings and sales. And they just need to go through some institutional due diligence while they continue to ramp up their business. And now clearly seems that institutions want in this name. And I was just out this weekend and I saw every single bar and restaurant use Toast. And it seems like it's a seamless and swift process for waiters, waitresses, and customers. Finally, even some smaller names, the EV toll industry is booming with some regulation clarity. And this is Joby right here popping on the week. And then Archer is actually even stronger because New York City is actually looking to put in Archer Aviation EV tolls as public transportation in the coming years. And I think they signed a deal with them as well. Of course, we still have AI and software um, as a major theme. And many of these uh, themes right now that we're talking about are the current strong ones. AI continues to live live and well. You can see NVIDIA is doing well. And you have very small names like Soon breaking out with power. We have BBI breaking out with power as well. So we can see that money is still flowing into these AI names. I'll cover a few software names that just have been on absolute strong uptrends. LTR, Palantir, as we know, APP, super extended, continues to get more extended. Shopify looks the U-turn after its earnings. Now gapped up on highest volume ever, but reversed so far. ERT provides a liquid cooling in data centers. PAL, another name that's strong. Now, ticker AI itself this week had a massive move higher, looking to break that 38 level to enter a stage two uptrend. Um, Duolingo continues to make new all-time highs, and then Oddity, the AI makeup company, saw a really nice move. So AI is definitely still alive and well. We're definitely still playing these names, and yeah, so that is about seven groups and themes that I covered right now. As always, that's going to wrap up the video. As always, you can always email me at ted@revereasset.com. You can email Dan or Don at revereasset.com. We named our flagship portfolio GROTECTION for the very reason with the dual mandate to grow assets and uptrends, which we are in now, as we have the four coveted green arrows. And once the market turns, we will be looking to protect assets, take profits, and make sure we suffer the smallest drawdown as possible. If you're interested in becoming a client, definitely reach out and we'd love to take care of you. And with that said, I'll wrap it up for this weekend video. This is Ted Zhang with Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thank you for listening and have a great week ahead. It is Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. We're entering that time of the year again. Good luck, everyone.